Hello and welcome to the Culture Swally, a podcast dedicated to Scottish news and pop culture. My name is Nicky, and I'm joined as always by the man who has charmed many a lady with his organ. It's Greg. How are you today, buddy?
Would that were true. Yeah, I'm okay. I've got a Mexican friend who has just moved back to Dubai, and he gave me a bottle of his favourite tequila, and he told me it's best kept in the freezer. So I've discovered that I actually, because obviously when you think of tequila, you think about late in the evening knocking them back at the bar with bits of lemon and salt and all kinds of shit, which I was never very good at. But apparently you're supposed to drink tequila the same way you drink whiskey. You sip it. Yeah. So last night, I had a couple of bottles of beer last night, nothing heavy. And then I thought, you know what? For my last drink, I'm going to have one of those tequilas out the freezer. And I just had one, like a modest measure. And I had such a sore head this morning when I woke up.
Oh, no. But is it clear tequila?
It's
or
clear.
Is it like golden?
No, it's clear. Okay. Not like a hangover sore head, but just like a fucking really, really sore head. So I can really put it down to the tequila.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, I think I went through a little phase of drinking tequila. It was nice. I quite liked it. Yeah,
it's nice. I mean, like I remember doing, I was never very good at doing shots back in our glory days. Things like Sambuca or tequila would usually lead to me having to nip to the bog to throw up. But I remember with David Pirrie, a friend of ours, lining up a load of shots on top of the cigarette, a load of shots of apple sewers on top of the cigarette machine in Exodus. Having a race, you could drink the most.
I was listening back to old episodes because I was making notes and compiling for the Best of the News 2024. Yeah. And yes, you did tell that story on the episode where we spoke about Exodus. Yeah. That story didn't make the cut because I said a few things I probably regret in that episode. Yeah. I think... I've never been, I was the same, like I was never a big shot person, but there would be sometimes if I was just tipped over the edge, then I would buy tequila or something.
I seem to recall you had a capacity for pints. So while some of the rest of us after a certain number of pints would maybe move on to shorts, you could kind of press on with pints for a lot longer than anyone else.
Yeah, I would say that's fair. I would eventually go on to Morgan's and lemonade. Yeah. But I have quite a good capacity for pints.
Yeah.
Oh well, I hope that you're feeling okay.
Yes.
And the headache is gone now for the pod. So everything else good with you?
All is well. Oh well, all good. Looking forward to talking about the lair of the white worm later on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a special episode that we're going to be having today. So, without further ado then, shall we have a look at what's been happening in Scotland over the last couple of weeks?
Cue the jingle.
Hello, this is the Outer Hebrides Broadcasting Corporation, and here is what's been going on in the news.
Okay, Greg, what have you seen in the newspapers over the last couple of weeks that you'd like to share with me and our lovely listeners?
Well, as it's the spooky season of October, and I think this episode...
this episode comes out on Halloween.
Yeah. I've got a story from the Scottish Sun from the 14th of October. The headline reads, "Foos your woos," which... It's really one that you need to speak from the northeast of Scotland to get. Major Scots city named the UK's most haunted. It came joint top with an English city. So they're talking about Aberdeen. It's the UK's joint most haunted city, according to a study. Took joint top spot with Bradford for spooky sightings and paranormal activity. The Granite City, famed for Doric greetings, fit-like and foos your doos, scored 8 out of 10 in analysis of haunted homes, bumps in the night, number of graveyards, empty homes, and believers in ghosts. I can't think of many graveyards in Aberdeen.
There's a lot. There's quite a few. Well, there's the one on Union Street, and then there's the one down by Pittodrie, and then there's quite a few out, like on the outskirts, and there's a couple of crematoriums and stuff as well. There's places tucked away, like where my mum's ashes are scattered. I never knew that place existed. It's down like Garth D, and I never knew that place existed. But yeah.
So Edinburgh, despite its castle and underground vaults, came 5th with 6.5 out of 10, and Dundee was 7th with a score of 6. Aberdeen oil worker Jamie Spence, 31, claimed he once returned from the rigs to find his Victorian bedsit rearranged. He said the spoons, forks and knives had all been moved and the curtains opened or closed. Only the landlord had keys, so unless he wanted me out, it had to be a ghost. It had to be.
He's an oil rig worker and he's staying in a bedsit.
Yeah. Well, you know, he's travelling light, you know, perhaps. Insurance firm, the Alan Boswell Group, which carried out the research, said that there are 761,000 empty homes in Britain, many considered to be haunted. He said that although many were holiday or second homes, a vast number were derelict, with many considered haunted. So the top 10 most haunted cities in the UK are joint number 1, Aberdeen and Bradford, York, Swansea, Edinburgh, Exeter and Dundee, Peterborough, Plymouth and Bristol. It comes as a hugely popular Halloween event. We'll return to Scotland later this month. More than 650,000 people have flocked to Glasgow's Botanic Gardens for Glasgow since it launched in 2018. Now the team behind the event has revealed the theme for 2024 is a nail-biting Halloween adventure titled Trick or Treat. And elsewhere, Lush, the soap shop, have launched their first ever Halloween countdown calendar to mark the spooky season. I'm not sure how that managed to get into an article about Aberdeen being haunted. So that's pretty much the whole story. I've got to say, like, you know, I obviously lived in Aberdeen for quite a long time. I don't recall ever feeling particularly unsettled walking past the St Nicholas. Well, I felt a bit unsettled walking past St Nicholas churchyard, usually because it's full of fucking junkies shouting at you as you pass by. But certainly nothing of this, not so much supernatural as super strength, you know?
Well, you could say that Union Street is a bit of a ghost town nowadays.
It certainly was the last time you and I tried to have a night out on a Friday night, wasn't it? There.
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, it definitely was.
It was like a Tuesday night, circa 1999.
Always the worst. That was the worst night to go out, wasn't it? Tuesday. Monday was always good. It was student night. So was Wednesday.
Yeah. So was Thursday.
Thursday was decent.
Yep.
And then, Friday, Saturday were great as well. But yeah. And Sunday nights could be pretty good too.
Pretty much Sunday night, Monday night, Wednesday night and Thursday night were pretty much student nights. Friday night and Saturday night was a bit more blended in terms of students and normal people.
Never made that connection before. I wonder if it's because on Wednesday was usually I didn't do any sports at university, but Wednesday was sports days for the universities.
Right.
So, like, I know one of my friends, he played for the RGU rugby team and he played every Wednesday. So I wonder if that's why Tuesday nights were quiet, because a lot of the sports teams were playing on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. No, I'd be the same. I never particularly thought Aberdeen is a haunted place, but I guess it is. Don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the Castlegate would probably be quite haunted because that's where they used to do all the hangings.
Yeah, for sure. And then Fit D, the wee village down on the almost on the beach there. It's kind of preserved, isn't it? It's sort of trapped in the past. But by design, you know, like it's the way that the people who live there want it.
It's lovely.
On the picture for this story, there's a photograph of a graveyard, and it's clearly in Aberdeen because there's a house behind it, and obviously as the article mentions, Aberdeen's known as the Granite City, and you know the architecture in Aberdeen has a particularly unique look to it. So if you know it, you spot it a mile away. So it's in Aberdeen, and it's a graveyard. And they've put sort of neon spiders on top of the graves, which I know it's Halloween, but maybe a wee bit insensitive, you know?
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah, that's not very nice.
Yeah. So
shocking.
Yeah. So anyway, that's spooky old Aberdeen, most haunted city in the UK, along with Bradford. What's your first story this week?
Well, my story links in with yours, Greg, because my story is from the Daily Record this week, and it says October has begun, which means the countdown to Halloween is on. And of course, this episode comes out on Halloween. As we enter spooky season, Scots up and down the country will be looking to get into the spirit of the holiday. It's not a holiday, is it? In America, it is, but it's not a holiday. Unsurprisingly, there are a number of ghosts said to come out throughout October, so there's plenty of opportunity for a spine-chilling day out. Experts at the Paranormal Database have compiled a list of paranormal and cryptozoologic locations in the UK and beyond. In honour of Halloween being just around the corner, the Daily Record has rounded up the supernatural activity reported around Scotland during the month. From a headless ghost to unexplained sounds of screaming, there is plenty of creepy things to experience across the country. That is, if you are brave enough to face them. So, here are the ghosts that they have recommended or that they have listed. There's the headless ghost at Glenlivet. Have you heard of that, Greg?
At the Glenlivet Distillery.
Well, near Glenlivet, you will come across a hill where a historic battle took place between the armies of George Gordon, the 1st Marquess of Huntly, and the 9th Earl of Errol Francis Hay in 1594. As with many battlefields in Scotland, the area is the site of supposed paranormal sightings. These mainly revolve around the spirit of soldier Alexander McAllister. That's a good Scottish name. According to legend, McAllister fought in the battle only briefly before being decapitated by a cannonball. Now it is said that his headless ghost wanders the site of the battle. If you are lucky, or perhaps unlucky, you may see him yourself. But obviously he won't see you because he's got no head. There is the screaming at Pittodrie House Hotel. Back to Aberdeen then, Greg. Yeah. So that kind of links in with yours. According to the Paranormal Database, the Pittodrie House Hotel has previously been the site of some strange happenings. The experts state that if you visit the Aberdeenshire Hotel on October the 31st, you may hear some unsettling noises. At the Pittodrie House Hotel, there have been reports of cries for help heard from a staircase on Halloween. These may well belong to a spirit of a maid who became trapped in a fire that overtook the building. Other supernatural activity said to occur at the hotel, according to the database, is a ghost carriage pulled by a single horse that wanders the driveway. Meanwhile, the library has also been the site of supposed paranormal happenings. What do you think about that?
Where is Pittodrie House Hotel?
It's just on the outskirts of Aberdeen.
Right, okay.
I want to say that's where... Was that? I think that was the site of Han McSolo's wedding.
Was that not Mary Coulter?
Yeah, maybe it was actually.
Mary Coulter House.
Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah, it was. Yeah, you're right, actually. Yeah.
Han McSolo. That would never not be funny. that joke's effectiveness has outlasted the marriage. That tells you what a good joke it was.
And then we have the floating stone in Dollar. This one is extra spooky, apparently, Greg, according to the article, as it involves none other than the devil himself. If you're feeling brave, head to Delhi's Cradle, situated atop a glen that was known as Burngren's in Clackmannanshire. On Halloween night, it is claimed that Satan floats on a large stone all night long. Surrounded by witches, he remains there until morning breaks on November the 1st. What a load of fucking bollocks. It's probably it's like, that's like Christmas for Satan. It's Santa. Yeah. Like, he's not going to be spending all night in
Clackmannanshire.
Fucking in Dollar. He's got better things to be doing, I'm sure. So how do you feel about that? What do you think about those famous ghosts? Have you heard of any of them?
I haven't. I don't really subscribe to all that because I'm sort of too cynical, but I do like a good ghost story. I like them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I like a spooky film, horror film, like a spooky book or whatever. And I like hearing these old folk tales. But there's one that springs to mind. I used to go out with a girl who lived, well, she lived in Aberdeen, but her mum lived in Fyvie, and just near Fyvie Castle. And she used to work there as a tour guide, funnily enough. And we went to have a look around the castle a couple of times, like on the tour. And outside one of the bedrooms, one of the bedroom windows, there are what looks like scratch marks on the windowsill. And you can see them. They're there. And by all accounts, some fucking toff who lived at Fyvie Castle at some point, they sort of kept kept his wife like prisoner in this room and abused her and everything, and she tried to escape by climbing out the window and fell to her death. So apparently her ghost walks the corridors and halls of Fyvie Castle. But there's definitely scratch marks on the windowsill. I don't know if they were made by a distressed lady or by something else, but they're definitely there. So that it sort of lends like a nice sort of degree of atmosphere to that story when the tour guide's telling you what happened, you know.
Yeah, I think every castle in Scotland has a ghost of some description. Was it? I always remember going to Crathis Castle. It's not like the Green Lady.
Yeah.
Or something. Like, yeah, there's always, every castle has some sort of haunted tale that the tour guides spin to children that are visiting. Well, but I wonder if it's all a load of bollocks.
Well, Glamis Castle was also in the Daily Record. I didn't pick it as a story, but it's been named one of the creepiest attractions in the UK as well. I think Glamis Castle was the late Queen Mother's. I think it was, she lived there when she wasn't in London. So she probably roams it with her fucking black teeth looking for a
gin and tonic.
Gin and Dubonnet, try to get the racing on the telly, you know. all the TVs keep like flicking on to Channel 4 racing every afternoon in the castle. We can't understand why. But yeah, Glamis Castle has got a green lady as well, apparently. And I think Fyvie. I think Fyvie Castle. I think that one I just told you about Fyvie Castle, I think she's supposed to be the Fyvie Castle green lady as well.
So it's a lot of female Celtic fan ghosts roaming around.
Yeah. Well, we did kill a lot of Catholics back in those days, you know.
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. But yeah, it's very true. It's a very good point, actually. Yeah. Well, that is the spooky goings on in Scotland that you can see on Halloween, which is the day this episode comes out. So if you are listening to this on the day of release and you're anywhere near Dollar, go and see if you can see the devil sitting on a stone.
Yeah.
And send him our regards.
Take a picture, send it in. Put it on Instagram.
cultureswally@gmail.com. Okay, Greg, what else have you seen this week?
So, I've got another story about a Scottish prison. The headline reads, Chicken Run, prison bosses in a flap over unregistered chickens tended by caged pervs amid law change. So, jail bosses are on a flap over unregistered chickens being looked after by sex offenders at a Scottish nick. Officials are scurrying to get the birds added to a new database ahead of a December deadline. Prison beaks have ordered the chicken run before they fall foul of the law if the feathered inmates aren't logged in time. So prison chiefs at His Majesty's Prison Donohoe in Tullibody near Alloa have been forced to act swiftly following a law change designed to tackle the threat of diseases like bird flu. A jail source said the nick is currently in the process of registering the free-range birds on the Scottish Kept Bird Register, which is overseen by the Scottish Government. A source said that bosses at Glenakill could find themselves in hot water if the birds aren't registered on time. They are kept in a caged run in outdoor enclosure next to the education building where sex offenders are allowed to look after them. There is a legal obligation to register each chicken, and they should also employ a suitable person to oversee the animal enclosure. So do you think that this is a way of protecting these birds from the guys that are looking after them? In case one goes missing.
I don't even know how to touch that. It's a nice bit of rehabilitation, isn't it, though? It gives them something to look after, and I'm sure Kevin Guthrie was able to feed his chickens when he was serving his time. Right, so this is falling foul. And by the way, that whoever wrote that article was having a hell of a laugh with some of the puns there. Yeah. I'm sure it'll get registered, and it's fine, and it'll all be okay. It's okay. I think it's a good idea. Would you eat an egg if you knew that the chicken had been reared? I didn't even mean to say that word. If the chicken had been handled, that's just as bad. Had been cared for. Cared for makes it sound nicer. By a sex offender. Would you buy like a 6-pack of Savills eggs?
To be honest, and it's going to make me sound incredibly shallow, and I can only apologise, but probably not.
You wouldn't eat the egg, or it wouldn't bother you?
I wouldn't eat it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough.
How about you? I mean, I suppose if you didn't know...
Well, I don't know.
If you didn't know...
if you don't know...
If you did know, you know?
If you don't know, I mean, come on. Like, I don't know. It's not like they're going to advertise it, is it? They're not going to come packaged in a, pedo free-range eggs, are they?
Picture of Guthrie in the box.
Well, he's not doing anything else at the moment, is he?
The Scottish sex offenders registers poster boy.
Shouldn't laugh at that, Greg. He did commit a terrible crime, it's not funny.
But his punishment's funny.
Yeah, that's what he's on a carton of eggs. Yeah. Well, that's a shame if the chickens get taken away. They're going to have to go back to replacing televisions with cardboard boxes, aren't they?
They sort of keep those the guys that are in for those types of crimes away from like other prisoners, is my understanding, because they tend to get they tend to get the shit kicked out of them on a regular basis.
Yes, and I'd say quite rightly so as well. Yeah, I'm not. This may be the wrong thing to say, but I'm fine with that.
What does Kathy Burt's character call it in Nil by Mouth? The Fraggle Wing.
Fuck, I haven't watched that in years. I fancy watching that again, actually.
A good film.
That's a great film.
I watched it again recently.
Yeah,
it's really good.
Fantastic film. Oh, well, I hope everything gets resolved and the prisoners get to keep their chooks.
Yeah, I'm not bothered either way. As long as the chickens are safe. That's the main thing. That's all I care about. Anyway, that's my second and final story. So what's your next one this week?
My next story comes from the Aberdeen Press and Journal this week, Greg. We've had a few stories in the past of people getting caught doing something by the police and just coming out with the most extraordinary excuses. The first one that springs to mind is, do you remember there was a guy got caught masturbating in his car and he said that a bee had stung him on his knob and he was trying to just check the bee sting.
Yeah. Gosh, that's good. That's an old one. It's a really old one.
Oh, yeah, that's an old one. It was the first one that came to mind, but there's quite a lot of stories of people lying to the police and stuff, and that's why you end up in the newspaper. So, from the Aberdeen Press and Journal this week, an Aberdeen teen caught with an axe in his car also had to explain to the police why he had a skull mask and a sex toy. Liam Beattie, 18, was stopped in a lay-by near Portlethen by police who initially wrongly suspected him of having cannabis. Officers searched his vehicle, and while they didn't find any drugs, they did find some unusual items. The axe was the only item deemed to be illegal. But Aberdeen Sheriff Court also heard about a mask with a skull design and a sex toy. Fiscal Deputy Alan Townsend said the incident happened around 9:10pm on August 16th at the unclassified road near Duff's Hill and Bothy Brig Garage, Portlethen. Special constables on patrol spotted Beattie's car in a lay-by and decided to stop and check on his welfare. Initially, the constables mistakenly believed Beattie may have been carrying cannabis, so detained him for a search. On searching his vehicle, they found an axe under the driver's floor mat. They also discovered a black skull mask, some gloves, a ski mask, and what the fiscal described as a dildo. Beattie was arrested regarding the axe and explained to officers that he'd had it for chopping up firewood when he goes camping. Mr. Townsend told the court Beattie then had to explain to the police why he had a sex toy in his car. And he explained that he used it to stick on the bonnet at car shows. The teenager was then able to show the police photographs to prove this. He also explained that the skull mask was just to put over the car's headrest to make it look like there was a face in the vehicle. Beattie of Deanslough Crescent, Aberdeen, pled guilty to possession of an axe in the public place without reasonable excuse. He did not face charges over the mask or the dildo. Well, because it's not illegal to have a dildo in your car, is it? Defence agent Neil McRobert emphasised that the only relevant item in the case was the axe, which he said was short-handled. The lawyer went on to say he used it when camping. He wasn't camping that day, and therefore he had no reasonable excuse. He should have removed it from his car following his last camping trip. Sheriff Rona Wark told Beattie, having an axe in your possession when you shouldn't is not a sensible thing to do. She fined him £520. You ever stuck a dildo on the bonnet of your car, Greg?
I can't say I have. Even at a car show.
I thought this was quite relevant because we're going to be discussing dildos quite a bit later on.
Certainly are.
So, at a car show, and come on, have an axe for when you go camping. And it was hidden under his floor mat. That's a bit suspicious.
Yeah. What would you... I suppose if you wanted to chop down some branches for firewood, but like every good scout knows that they don't burn well when you take them right off the tree because there's too much moisture in them. You've got to get them off the ground when they're dried out.
Why would you have a skull mask to put over a headrest so it looks like a face is in the vehicle? And then it looks like one of Funny Bones is driving your car or something. Yeah. It's always one of my favourite stories is about Noel Edmonds, because he used to drive a black cab. As in, he didn't drive a black cab. He owned a black cab that he used as his car around London. And he used to have a mannequin in the back so that he could use the bus lanes.
Oh, that was so he could put the hired light on and nobody would bother him when it was...
No, so he could use the bus lane and avoid congestion charges and stuff. So.
He's an odd guy, Noel Edmonds, isn't he?
He's a very odd guy, yes.
Yeah.
Very strange fellow. So yeah, have you ever had anything suspicious in your car that you'd be horrified if the police pulled you over?
I don't think so. I mean, I get a bit embarrassed if my car is untidy and I'm giving somebody a lift. You know what I mean? Like, my wife's car is always a fucking mess. I mean, I hate driving her car because, one, because she's so short, I've got this me just to adjust the seat. And two, our car's like a fucking bin. But I can't handle having an untidy car. Even the boot has to be tidy. And at the moment, my boot's a little bit untidy because I've got my tennis racket in there, and I've got my bag that I take to the tennis that I've not emptied since Thursday. And there's like some like sweaty clothes in there and stuff. So, and I'm getting a bit anxious just thinking about it right now. So I am. So with all that in mind, I couldn't handle having a dildo in the front of the car. I don't even like having things hanging from the mirror. You know, some people have like a magic tree or something, air freshener, but I can't have that. It distracts me, you know?
Yeah, not a fan of that. Not a fan of that at all. I do remember I had met a young lady one evening and we'd shared an evening together, and we'd arranged to meet up a couple of days later in the afternoon. I was picking her up and I said I've had to go and pick up my uncle, and then I would come and get her. So I went and drove round to hers, and she did say to me, did you get your uncle? And I was like, yeah. She's like, did you drop him off somewhere? And I was like, no, he's in the boot. And I guess I forgot to mention I was going to the crematorium to pick up my uncle's ashes. So I was driving around with my uncle's ashes in the boot of my car. Out with a young lady.
Courting a young lady. That's what he'd have wanted, I think.
Courting. Yeah, probably. Yeah, I think it was. He was quite a shagger, actually. So, yeah.
I remember, I won't say the guy's name because he's happily married now, and he wouldn't want his name to be attached to this story. But I remember being out in Glasgow one night with a mate of mine years and years and years ago, and he kind of clicked with this girl, and she invited him back to his. So he said when they were in a taxi, she said, I'm going to get a taxi to stop at the garage, so I want to get something. And so the taxi driver pulled in, and he said to her, what are you going to get? And she said, I need to get some batteries for my vibrator. He said it was a filthy evening after that. I mean, on a one night stand, for goodness sake, that's like date 4.
Surely you just take them out the remote control.
Don't know.
And get batteries the next day.
No, he did say the remote control looked a wee bit shiny, right enough.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, sorry. That was gutter humor.
That's too far,
yeah,
Greg.
Sorry.
That is too far, although what we're going to be discussing later on, I think it's going to be... Yeah, it's quite tame. Okay, so that is our hero fined 520 quid, and hopefully he won't be driving around with any dildos. Well, that's fine, actually, because it wasn't illegal. Yeah. It was the axe that was illegal, so it's fine. I just wonder why. I'd love to see the photos of that dildo stuck to the bonnet of his car.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Distracting.
Yeah, very distracting. Yeah, it would be. Like I don't know. It's not like a Rolls Royce. It's like a...
maybe it goes. Maybe it sinks in like the flying lady in front of the comes back up again when you the click of a button, like in a Rolls Royce.
Or like Hugh Grant's pen when he's on the airplane in what we're going to be discussing about very shortly. Oh, I can't wait. Let's get on to this soon. Okay. So have you seen anything else this week, Greg?
I haven't. But you know, we've had a couple of episodes now where we've spoken about our patron saint, Mr. Cosmo, and some of the some of his sort of social activity. I think the last one we spoke about was his Olympics opening ceremony party, because he's, as we discussed, he's Olympic staffed. The other thing that he likes to do for the grandkids every year is have a Halloween party in his house.
Oh, very nice.
You know, so he likes to do it for the Grand Waynes. And he invites some of his kind of closer friends to bring their grandkids if they have them over. Heyman always brings his grandkids to Cosmo's party, but somehow he always ends up having to get an Uber back, which his grandkids have to book up from on his phone. Cosmo, you know, although he quite enjoys putting on the party, he's a bit lazy when it comes to the costume, so he always just sticks on his Braveheart costume, just because it's hanging in the wardrobe. It's easy if he needs to go to the toilet and stuff, because he can just go commando and things. But he doesn't wear the long-haired wig anymore because it makes his head itchy. The whole point of Halloween party is to try and repopularise a traditional Scottish Halloween party. He's violently opposed to what he calls the Yankification of Halloween. So he won't have a pumpkin in the house. Not at any time of the year, but especially not during Halloween. He'll only have neep lanterns, as we would call them, for people who aren't familiar with a neep lantern. It's a turnip lantern, because when Nicky and I were kids, you couldn't get pumpkins in Scotland. It's the last sort of 15, 20 years. He always makes Costello come round and carve the lanterns, because Mrs. Cosmo's, you know, she's got a bit of the carpal tunnel in her right hand. She's not as good at it as she used to be. So he always lends Costello his trusty penknife that he posted from from the airport, his house in Glasgow. As always, Costello, you know, his dignity is always sort of pushed to the very wire. Costello always makes him dress as Jimmy Crankcakes. He just thinks it's fucking hilarious. Costello tried to tell some kids that came to the door one year that he was dressed as Angus Young from AC/DC, but Cosmo put him right in front of those kids. Instead of having sweeties at the front door, Cosmo always makes sure that he has some of Mrs. Cosmo's homemade tablet, Walker's shortbread, the full tonics range, so wafer, coconut log, snowball, dark chocolate, snowball, the whole shebang. But it's because he's got a mate who works in the factory, so he can go at the back door and just pay cost for it.
Gets knocked off tonics.
Yeah. He has a bowl
tea cakes that fell off the back of a lorry.
He has a bowl of apples from his tree in the garden, and a slow cooker full of stovies as well.
That traditional Halloween dish, stovies.
So if any of the kids come to the door and say trick or treat, he tells them to fuck off. He'll only entertain kids that are guising. And for anybody in the US, guising is like trick or treat, but instead of threatening to pan somebody's windows or fucking egg their house or whatever to get your treat, you had to do like a wee turn. So tell a joke, sing a song, something like that. In 1985, a 7-year-old kid threw a roll of toilet roll over his Austin Montego, and Cosmo made his dad come. Cosmo made his dad come and sort it all out and wash and polish the car.
Polish it.
So now all the kids are well warned before they head out on the street in Cosmo's neighbourhood, and as a result, they get very few chaps at the door. The grandkids usually end up taking most of the tonics and the tablet home. The apples and the stovies just sort of sit there until Heyman gets wired into a bowl of stovies and tries to take it in the taxi. Who else might arrive at Cosmo's Halloween party?
It's going to be a select few, I would imagine. It's not going to be a huge affair, is it? I'd imagine I envisage Dave Mackay would be there, and he'd be dressed up in his Braveheart costume as well, yep. Which I don't think would amuse Cosmo. I think he'd pull Dave to one side and say, go home and get changed. And Dave would be like, but surely we can both be from Braveheart. It's a huge film. More different characters. And Cosmo's like, no, there can be only one. And Dave says, that's perfect. Then you could be Angus MacLeod from Highlander, because you played him as well, which I'd imagine would get Dave a boot up the arse and told to go home and get changed right now. I think, Norton's going to be there, obviously. Norton's at every occasion.
Yeah, he'll be hovering around that stovey spot, actually.
Oh, he will be. I envisage Norton has come in a tuxedo, and he's come as James Bond, because that's who he's come as Big Tam. Right. But everyone compliment him on his very realistic Colin Farrell as the Penguin outfit. And he's quite upset by this. So, he decides to comfort eat, and he attacks the Tunnocks buffet and the Stovies, which Heyman's not happy about either, because he was eyeing, the last portion of Stovies. And Cosmo has pulled him to one side and says, "Come on, Alex, we talked about this.
Yeah. Those sweeties are for the grandweeds."
You cannot be eating all the Tunnocks. Come on, think of yourself. Come on. By the time this has happened, Dave's Mackay has come back, and he's dressed in a green tracksuit. And initially, Cosmo's fucking livid at this, because he's a lifelong Rangers fan, and he's I can't be doing this. But then he realises, I've read about this. He's come as one of those contestants in that octopus games that I've heard about. I've never seen it. Never seen it. Cosmo doesn't do subtitles, but he's heard about it.
He just likes to read when he's watching the telly.
No, it's a completely different thing. But then Dave says, "No, I've come as you love the Olympics. I've come as Ray Gunn." And Cosmo's like, "Who the fuck is Ray Gunn?" Because Cosmo likes the Olympics, but it's the traditional things. He didn't watch the breakdance, so he's a bit perplexed. So then Dave would do a wee breakdancing routine in the garden just to show what he was doing, and then he ends up knocking over one of Cosmo's gnomes and then ends up breaking the high jump record when Cosmo launches him over the garden fence. I think all the great will be there. I mean, Tony Roper will be there. He's probably, I don't know what Roper would be dressed as. He's probably just come as Jamesy from Ravs and Desperate.
Lazy.
Just, he's chucked on his blazer.
Botline brew in the pocket.
Yeah. Telling everyone about Touch the Dog's Arse again. And just...
Classic Halloween game.
Hovering around. What do you think Mrs. Cosmo is dressed as?
I think Mrs. Cosmo is probably sort of dressed up in a kind of Mrs. Claus type dress, because she knows that she's going to be spending the whole night just cleaning. Cosmo's got like treacle scones tied to the ceiling for the treacle scone game. There's water. He's making all the grandkids do bobbing for apples, so the fucking kitchen floor's soaking wet and everything. So she was going to try and squeeze into her Catwoman costume, but she thought it's just not practical. It's just not practical when you've got a cloth or a mop in your hand all fucking night. So she's gone for practicality.
See, I was envisaging maybe that her Barbara Rafferty and Elaine C. Smith would come as maybe like the Hocus Pocus.
Oh yeah, maybe she could be the Bette Midler. She's playing the Bette Midler one. Yeah, maybe,
or maybe the Witches of Eastwick. Yeah. Although that's a bit too sexy and raunchy for him. Yeah. We'll stick with Hocus Pocus, I think.
Yeah. Maybe sort of Wicker Man era Rafferty.
Was she not quite seductive in that, though?
Well, she was breastfeeding a pig.
Greg, that can be seductive to sex offenders that look after chickens.
or just male pigs.
That's true, actually, yeah. Barbara Rafferty. Yeah. 1970s Barbara Rafferty, she was all right. Yeah. So, who do you think's winning are there a winner for the treacle scone game? Or
I think Heyman's fucked it because he's just walked into it without realising that anybody's even playing a game, and he's bloody walked treacle scones all up Mrs. Cosmo's carpet stairs.
Now he's got a big treacle stain on his face that he can't seem to wipe off.
And up his back and all that. So I think Cosmo's I think he's on Mrs. Cosmo's insistence, he's taking the scones down because Heyman's fucked it as usual.
Poor Heyman. Is Cosmo making Costello stand up and sing a song as Jimmy Cranky?
He's making Costello walk about on his knees with like shoes on his knees. For added authenticity. Even if he wants to go up the stairs to the toilet, he's got to walk up the stairs on his knees, which is really, really difficult.
So you occasionally just give him a clip round the head and call him a stupid boy or something.
Occasionally. Whenever Costello tries out some of Jimmy Cranky's trademark cheekiness, he just earns him like a backhander or a boot up the arse. She just can't understand why he can't be Angus Young.
A rolled up copy of the Beano smacked over his head.
Yeah, exactly. I think, like all of Cosmo's parties, comes to an end a wee bit earlier because, as chance would have it, Gerald Butler's in town.
Butler's back.
But he's
all right.
He's brought on Cosmo's insistence. He's brought his kids with him, but his kids are obviously practically American because they live in Los Angeles, so they've turned up in expensive, elaborate costumes, shouting "trick or treat" and. With the scone up the stairs and, just all the usual shite that he's got to deal with Heyman. Cosmo's like, right, that's it. he just makes the signal that it's time everybody left.
I've had enough. It's over.
Yeah.
I had enough of this shite.
He tries in vain to tell the little butlers that it's Geisen, not trick or treat, but he just can't make it clear to them, so he's thought, fuck it, I'm not doing this again.
I mean, I don't want to let any light in upon magic, but like Jerry Butler doesn't have any kids, Greg.
Maybe. Is it not? You just looked that up?
No. I know. I think he's quite famously been like a bachelor in his life. No, I'm not saying it in that way.
Yeah.
That he's a famous bachelor. I know he's very close with Darius, and he still goes back to Glasgow to get his hair cut. But he's not a bachelor. He's not a bachelor boy like Cliff Richard's a bachelor boy.
No.
But he's a bachelor. Yes.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's got any kids. Maybe it's his niece and nephew though.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe. But they would know what Geisen was, surely.
Maybe. Yeah.
If they come from Paisley. That's where he's from, Paisley.
Famously so.
Yeah.
I know he's on the Paisley Walk of Fame. Remember? We covered that.
Of course, yeah.
Earlier this year.
Of course.
The Walk of Fame. Yeah.
So Cosmo's left wondering whether he can be bothered doing his usual annual fireworks display or like likes to do in the garden, or if he's as well just to leave it until Christmas.
Where's he got the fireworks from? Are they official bought, or has he got them knock off from a Chinese factory?
He knows a guy down at the pub. Can get anything you want.
Sold him some Catherine wheels and some bangers.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he's making Costello like,
of course,
Cosmos.
Yeah, absolutely. Sends Costello over with like a sort of knot of newspaper lit. Stephen let him use a lighting taper because they take too long to light the fireworks.
Is he going to make Costello stick a rocket on his arse?
I don't think he'd do that. I don't think he'd go that far. I think he'd go that far.
He just lets him have a little sparkler.
Yeah. Did you ever, when you were a kid, did your mum or anybody ever get fireworks for the garden and just have everybody round?
Yes. Wouldn't have everyone round.
There's a few people around.
We would have sparklers, and there would be occasional like rockets and stuff. And I mean, you remember where we lived. So there was like a big grass patch just behind us.
Yeah.
So we would go there and let off rockets and stuff. And sparklers. And then, but that was about it. I was never really a big fireworks fan, to be honest.
I wasn't. And you'd always get fucking widos at school in the weeks before that would have fireworks, and they'd be out and about, throw them about at night and stuff like that, and letting them off.
Yeah.
I remember, like when we lived in Barrow and Furness, like my mum and my stepdad for a couple of years bought fireworks, and we had like the sort of the kids that I ran about with in the street. They would come round. My mum would do like some hot dogs and maybe some toffee apples and stuff like that, and my stepdad would let them off. But I was thinking about this the other day. Now, my stepdad ended up working for the health and safety executive in Aberdeen, right? And he's retired. He's retired now, but his whole career has been around health and safety in oil industry, specifically engineering workplaces. The first year that he bought fireworks to let off in the garden, he tied a banger to a rocket.
Holy shit.
And lit it. And of course, like it was too heavy for the rocket to take off. So it sort of flew around the garden a bit before going off. My mother absolutely bollocked him. I don't think he's ever been bollocked like that, ever, before or since. She was raging. We're all like leaping out the way of this errant rocket with a banger taped to it.
Must have been great to see, though.
Well, really, it was a bit frightening, because it literally was like flying around the garden, like it's sort of knee height. Oh, dear.
Oh, lovely. So Cosmo ends the party with his fireworks display, and then I guess everyone just gets booted out and told to fuck off. Heyman's Ubers arrive.
Yeah.
He's off with the grandkids.
Yeah.
Covered in treacle. Uber driver's not happy.
No.
Thankfully hasn't noticed that he's got a big treacle stain down his back.
Yeah. He's already fucked off about the little paper bowl for the stovies that Heyman's spilling all over the seats in the footwell. You know?
Do you think Heyman falls asleep in the Uber home and the stovies get spilt on the floor mat?
I think it's absolutely to be expected.
Poor Heyman. What a toucan Dan he is. Yeah. He really is. Never mind. Oh, well. Oh, lovely. That was a patron saint of the Culture Swally, James Cosmo's Halloween party. Wonderful occasion.
So, how are we? So, I guess it's normally time for a word from our sponsor. I don't know why I said that. On you go.
Right then. Okay, before we go on to what we're going to be talking about today, let's have a little word from our sponsor. And our sponsor is Doric Skateboards, a skateboard brand created by Gary Kemp, whose main focus is to explore the people and culture of Aberdeen and the northeast of Scotland, creating designs to reflect life in that wonderful area that I hail from. Doric Skateboards screen print their own decks in their new studio by Gary's fair hand, and they have produced some amazing designs over the years, including an Annie Lennox-inspired board, a Robert the Bruce deck, and a Plenty of Pop deck inspired by the old Bonaccord trucks that used to drive around Aberdeen delivering fizzy juice. Doric Skateboards also replicate these amazing designs onto their clothing on 100% organic cotton tees, hoodies, and sweatshirts, and they also produce beanies, caps, mugs, pin badges, and stickers. Gary regularly collaborates with local artists to ensure he brings the latest designs to the market, but always with a Doric twist, including the latest butt redesign based on the famous Aberdeen Breakfast of Champions, and the beautiful Northfield Tower design, a love letter to the Eiffel Tower of Aberdeen. So check Doric Skateboards out for yourself at doricskateboards.com and follow them on Instagram at Doric Skateboards to see the amazing designs on offer. And we are delighted to be able to offer you 15% off as listeners to this podcast. All you need to do is head to doricskateboards.com, have a look at all the amazing decks, stickers, badges, hoodies and tees on offer, and enter the promo code SWALLY. That's SWALLY, same with its name as this podcast, all in block capitals, and get your 15% off. That's doricskateboards.com, link in the description of this episode.
Okay, so normally it would be my choice this week, but it's a bit of a change. We've taken a listener request from our Peter Capaldi superfan Olivia, who has asked us if we would consider discussing the 1988 Ken Russell supernatural comedy horror film, The Lair of the White Worm. So it does have a Scottish connection, and that is the elegant-handed Peter Capaldi. Plays our hero, Angus Flint. Also stars Hugh Grant in an early role. Amanda Donohoe, Catherine Oxenberg of Dynasty. Sammy Davis, and what's his name, who plays Ernie? Paul Brooks, who I think was in every single television programme made between about 1972 and 1989. So I'd never seen this. It is, if you're familiar with the works of Ken Russell, which I am to some extent, like I've seen The Devils, which has quite a lot of the same aesthetic as this comedy horror, and also his film version of the Who album, Tommy. So yeah, if you're familiar with the works of Ken Russell, then none of this will come as any surprise. Although for me, it'd been a while since I'd seen a Ken Russell film. So that there is one moment early on in the film which came as a fucking massive surprise. But we'll get on to that. Had you seen The Lair of the White Worm before?
No, it was my first time of seeing Lair of the White Worm. Similar to yourself, I am familiar with Ken Russell, and I have seen a few of his films, but for some reason I'd never seen this before. So I was very much looking forward to watching it. And based on descriptions that I'd read online, the film follows two sisters whose parents have vanished a year ago, and news arrives that their father's watch has turned up in a nearby cave. Meanwhile, a Scottish archaeologist has found a large reptilian skull. This sets wheels in motion for Lady Sylvia, a seductive vampiress snake monster, to slowly feast on whoever she pleases and turn the town into vampiric snake creatures. Now, I would say a more realistic description of this film is two orphaned girls who run a bed and breakfast, team up with a Scottish archaeologist and an English lord to fight a snake woman. This starts off as like a creepy mystery. I was kind of all in, set in the English countryside, and bang, straight in. Jesus on a cross, huge serpent coiled around him, nuns getting raped left, right and centre by centurions, blood, fire, then it's all calm again. This film is fucking batshit crazy. And I am here for it. This was fucking brilliant. 80s horror was just mental, wasn't it? And add Ken Russell into the mix and we're off to the races.
Well, especially British.
Fucking insane.
Especially British 80s horror. So, I mean, this... Yeah. And the thing is, like, the kind of even the filter on the film of this is kind of similar to Hellraiser. You know what I mean? Like, especially the kind of the interior scenes and everything. But I mean, like, just that the film opens with Angus, played by Peter Capaldi, finding the skull that you mentioned there, right? And he's joined by the sisters, Mary and Eve, played by Sammy Davis and Catherine Oxenberg. Sammy Davis.
Not Junior.
Not Junior. Both eyes and white. She gets a bit better as the dramatic stakes are raised. In that opening scene, she is fucking appalling. And
she's terrible. Terrible.
And I'm looking at Capaldi. I mean, and, you know, obviously this is quite an early film for him. Possibly the highest profile thing that he'd have done after Local Hero, probably, at this stage. And certainly, you know, he's not like a lead character. He's a supporting character in Local Hero. You know, he's kind of, you know, it's because the story is high fantasy, and you kind of get the feeling that he knows that, you know, but he's a professional and he's going to do as much justice to the mad script as he can. But most of his scenes are with Sammy Davis, and later on when they're walking back from the Cayley through the Grove, and she just decides to tell him there and then that her mum and dad went missing a year ago, in exactly the place where they're walking. So you sort of get the impression that he's been staying there for a little while and it's never come up before.
Well, no, it does, because in the opening scene, when he finds the skull, he does say something to her about, playing Happy Families. And Sammy Davis, not Junior, does say, we haven't done that since the parents left.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
So she does mention it, so I think it is known.
Yeah.
But that scene that you're talking about when they're walking through the woods and she explains about the disappearance, I think he probably knew they disappeared, but didn't know how or why.
Yeah.
So she does explain it, and then he kind of roundabout way asks her if she's got a boyfriend, and he's like, no, he died in a motorbike accident.
Fuck's sake.
And then he fucking kisses her.
He's like, yes, an opening.
I still can't believe they're gone. I have a feeling they've been spirited away. They'll come back again someday.
And in the meantime, you're both running the guest house.
Till something better comes along.
It looks like something has for Eve.
You mean James? Some hopes. They're just good friends, in the old-fashioned sense. He's a proper fly-by-night, that one. Never here. Still, he was kind to us when we were...
Orphaned.
Sounds funny, doesn't it? Orphaned.
Was there no one else to help?
If you're trying to ask me if I've got a boyfriend, the answer's no. Not now. Killed himself on a motorbike. Tough bugger.
I have to say, yes, Sammy Davis, not Junior, that plays Mary. I don't know if I could say this nowadays, but I was a bit unsure at the beginning. I was like, is that a wee boy? And then it turns out, obviously, it's not. But yeah, I agree. She does get better as the film goes on, but she's atrocious in that first bit. So is Eve. Like, I wrote down that opening scene when Eve and Mary are there with Angus. Like, Eve and Mary reminded me of like a Enid Blyton characters from the Famous Five or something. And even Eve, she runs off. Oh, my spotted dick. And and that's what you're like, right, okay, I know where this film's going. Yeah, I'm all in for this. This is Ken Russell taking the piss. This is brilliant.
Well, because the film is very, 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 very loosely based on an old Bram Stoker, author of Dracula, story. And I read the synopsis of the book in which this is based on. And it sounds pretty fucking good, to be honest. I mean, it's, it sounds... obviously Bram isn't playing it for shits and giggles in the way that Ken Russell evidently is. But then, there's nothing funny about nuns being impaled.
No. Impaled is no.
Or raped.
There's nothing funny about that. Yeah. There's nothing funny about that at all. Yeah, very loosely based on Bram Stoker book. Apparently, I think that was the only reason that it does say in the opening credits, written by Ken Russell, but based on a story by Bram Stoker, because apparently Bram Stoker's wife who survived him, was very litigious in terms of she would sue the shit out of anyone that was doing anything based on his work. So they had to credit that.
Yeah, I imagine she was probably dead by the time this film came out, though, from Mrs. Stoker.
Maybe it was her daughter or something, but it was Bram Stoker's estate. Effectively, were very litigious.
Yeah.
They have that. So yes, you have Angus, played by Capaldi, staying with Mary and Eve, who run this bed and breakfast. I tell you, they talk a lot about their guests being annoying and demanding.
I know.
They're never fucking there. Like, the fucking policeman, Ernie, had to get a hot water bottle for one of the guests.
Yeah, and make his own tea.
Aye. So they do, on a few occasions, complain about, they're so annoying and demanding. But they're never fucking around. Like, what are they doing?
I mean, there is the funny thing about this film, and again, I don't know if Russell's got like his tongue firmly kind of pressed in his cheek, but there's a lot of really quite long scenes, and a lot of long scenes of people on the telephone, Like, he creates a whole character for Mary to speak to at the train station to see Ray. I mean, Roy. Sorry, Ray. Sorry, Roy. And that scene goes on for ages, and you're kind of like, come on, let's get to it,
What was it? Oh, you stayed here last spring, did you? Oh, yes, that's right. I remember you now.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I remember you now, Ray. I mean, Roy. I mean, Ray.
Probably never saw him because you're never fucking there.
Yeah. But that's like, the thing is, like, they don't even when the characters on the phone to each other, it doesn't cut back and forth. There's the scene when James, posh toff James, played by Hugh Grant, is on the phone to Angus. And it's just him on his own. What? Yes, I suppose you're right. No. Well, yes. Well, I've got some theories of my own I'm going to check out. Okay. Give my love to the girls.
Yeah, the only time that you see the two-way of the phone conversation is at the end when Gina McKee, working at the laboratory, who obviously will be getting fired. Well, we'll come back to that at the end. We don't want to spoil it too much at the moment. But yeah, you're right. It is very one-way conversations when they're on the phone.
Yeah.
But you're right. They do build this whole backstory about everything. And I mean, I guess let's talk about, the first person you see is Capaldi, as Angus Flint. He finds this skull, which he holds in his elegant hands, and he lets out a yippee when he finds it.
Yes, it does.
You ever yippied?
No, I don't think so.
No, it doesn't seem like a natural thing to do, is it? Yippee.
Yeah, really. It reminds me of the little boy in Mary Poppins. He says yippee a lot, and it's fucking annoying. Like Michael.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you've got kids. I can watch Mary Poppins in fucking years. I never liked Mary Poppins. I've said it. I've never liked Mary Poppins.
I'd have fucking left Michael in the painting. So if I'd be Mary Poppins in Bert.
So they have this big debate about whether it's a dinosaur skull or what it could be. Well, they said could be a cow, but it doesn't have horns. I'm like, okay, yeah.
It's just
fair enough.
There's just too much. There's too much talking in those moments. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of just absolute nonsense spoken. This film could have been cut down a fair bit. But Capaldi, I mean, we've had him on the podcast a few times before. Not had him, but you know, I mean, we've discussed him a few times. I think the last time was the beginning of the year when we did Soft Top, Hard Shoulder. And it's true, as you say. Oh no, of course, he wasn't in Series 2 of Field of Blood because he died in Series 1. Oh yeah. Spoiler alert. But yeah, so yeah, a very early role, and he's a handsome looking guy in this though. Lovely hair.
Lovely head of hair.
He outdoes Hugh Grant in the hair stakes in this, I would say.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and he's like later on when he gets his bagpipes out. I like the fact that despite the peril and the race against time, he took the time to put his kilt on and his sash and his socks and everything. And you and I know that putting a kilt on properly takes a wee bit of time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Get it right, get it comfortable. Mm-hmm. But, you know, obviously if he's going to play his bagpipes, he's going to play them in the correct attire.
Yeah, and don't even get me started on the timing of how he managed to get there and get all that on. And he's staying at a B&B, and we've seen his room. It's not very luxurious and stuff. And it doesn't look like he's got a lot of stuff in there.
No.
If he's going for an archaeological dig down to Derbyshire, would you really take your kilt and your sash and your bagpipes with you?
Well, you never know when you've got to charm like a snake person, you know?
It's a very valid point, Greg. I hadn't thought about that.
I certainly won't be going anywhere without mine from now on. You know?
Yeah, you're very right. So you're right, this was probably quite early on in Capaldi's career, film-wise. And yeah, I mean, it's safe to say he's gone on. It's funny that I read a few articles and I listened to a couple of podcasts speaking about this in preparation. And of course, they all refer to him as Doctor Who. And that's probably what he'll be best remembered for a lot of people. I mean, I think for me and you, it's Malcolm Tucker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Definitely.
I've never seen a single episode of Capaldi as Doctor Who.
He's good as Doctor Who. He is good. And sort of famously, he was a huge fan of Doctor Who as like a young guy in the 60s and 70s, and he was like, I think he was the sort of president of the Scottish Doctor Who fan club and all this kind of thing. So he was, you know, he turned up. You know what I mean? He took it very seriously, and as a result, he's good. You know, he's good. There's a bit of mystery about him. He's a bit of ruthlessness about him and stuff like that, about how he plays the character. And he's also quite funny as well in parts. No, he was a good Doctor Who.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in much lately. I did notice the that series he did, Criminal Record, I think, Apple TV series.
Yeah, so I need to watch that.
But yeah, he's a wonderful actor. Love Capaldi. I think he's great. And he's great in this. Like, its tongue is firmly in cheek, I think. Yeah. I think he knows what the assignment is.
Yeah.
He knows what he's here to do. And yeah, he's just playing up to it. Mm-hmm. I do wonder if the same can be said for Hugh Grant, though.
Yeah, I mean, Hugh Grant is... You know, like, the thing about Hugh Grant is that he pretty unknown actor until he did 4 Weddings and a Funeral. And then he kind of went from hardly anybody knowing him to being known all over the world. And he's had a bit of I would even say he's had a bit of a renaissance in the last few years. He's done some kind of interesting stuff. And he's a good actor. You know, he's a good actor. In this, I mean, he fucking he barely turns up. You know what I mean? The scene when he's having the dream and he's supposed to be seeing all of the, you know, he doesn't register any kind of even mild surprise, you know? I mean, the moment that you mentioned earlier on when he's dreaming that he's on the aeroplane and he's tied to the seat as Lady Sylvia and Wendy in their hostesses' uniforms wrestle on the floor of the plane, and he's holding a pen for no reason whatsoever. Oh, because he was doing the crossword. Yeah, beg your pardon. He was
drawing a snake in the crossword.
Yeah, and it just, as they're wrestling, the pen just sort of phallically rises in arousal.
It's not even that. It's the fact it's a red felt tip pen as well. It looks like a fucking dog's cock. Like, the way it rises up. This little red rocket is rising to the occasion. He was, I'm the same as you. I like Hugh Grant.
I do. I do.
Like, he never kind of rose to fame until Four Weddings, and then obviously he had that kind of string of playing the same character in every film.
Yeah.
Which he effectively plays in this as well, like the foppish kind of
posh boy,
posh English guy with the floppy hair. And then he got done for getting a blowy from Divine Brown in LA. And fair play, he fucking owned it.
Yeah.
Like he didn't deny it. He just kind of stood up. Like, I've got a lot of respect for him for that. He was like, yeah, I made a mistake. I did it.
Yeah.
So what? He kind of, he almost, not like kind of disappeared, but he didn't do much for quite a while. Maybe he was still acting, but I don't remember him in much. And then he went through a period where he was basically trying to take down Rupert Murdoch. And a lot of respect for him for that. And I also respect him that he settled that case out of court, but then released a statement basically saying, look, if I was to take these cunts to court, which I want to do, it would bankrupt me. Yeah. And there's probably no way I would win, even though I know they're in the wrong. But they've offered me this settlement, so I'm taking it. I'm going to give all the money to charity, but I just want it to be publicly known I don't agree with this. But I have to. Yeah. And they're all cunts. And like huge respect to Hugh. And he has carved out, I would say, is exactly as you said, a renaissance, like a later career. If I think of his roles in like Paddington 2 or The Gentleman. Yeah. And I think he did something recently that was really quite highly acclaimed as well.
Was it the Heretic, the horror film?
That might be it, yeah. There was something else he was in that was really quite highly praised.
Oh, I think it was the one on the TV where he plays Jeremy Thorpe, a very English scandal. He plays like the MP who's having a homosexual affair with Q from James Bond, who does the voice of Paddington. Who does the voice of Paddington, whose name I can't remember.
Ben Whishaw.
Yeah,
I think he's carved out a great career. He has said that he is a bit ashamed of this film. He did say that he wasn't sure if it was a horror or a comedy, and it's both. Hugh. Yeah. Come on, it's both. Yeah. I did love. I've heard a story. Apparently, like Ken Russell would be totally fine in the morning when they were filming, but then he would go off and have a liquid lunch,
right,
and come back a bit pissed. And apparently, it was quite a regular occurrence. He would shout at Hugh in the afternoon, saying, "No, do it like I showed you, you fucking cunt." And Hugh got a bit upset by this. As you can imagine, like if your boss is saying that to you, you're going to get a little bit annoyed, I guess.
Well, it's fair enough. It's fair enough.
But yeah, his character in this, Lord James, he's a bit, I don't know. Is he? Oh, well, no. I was going to say, is he shagging Eve? But he's not, because Eve's a virgin, as we find out towards the end.
It's kind of hinted towards when he brings her back in the morning, and he said, she says, "I think I'll just go and go upstairs and have a lie down until they come back." And he says, "Yeah, I'm going to go back and have a lie down too because you kept me up all night." And then he goes, "Dancing." And I was like, do you mean dancing or do you mean dancing?
Yeah, I wondered that too. So, which is why I was quite surprised when it was revealed later that she is indeed a virgin. But he does kiss Lady Sylvia as well. So he's obviously a shagger, but maybe him and Eve aren't exclusive. But he's a bit. I don't know. He's a bit useless. He lives in this mansion with his butler, Stratford Johns, who I'll come on to later because I have worked with Stratford Johns.
Oh, have you? Have you really?
I have worked with Stratford Johns. I'll come back to that later on. But yeah, he lives like in this mansion because his dad's obviously passed away. He's like a shit Bruce Wayne, isn't he?
Yeah, like a Bruce Wayne with nothing to do.
Yeah, just dresses up. That's another thing as well in this film. Why is it every scene, every character is wearing a different outfit? How many RAF outfits does James have? He's dressed in a different RAF jumper, or he goes down to see Lady Sylvia in his full uniform. Like, give her a fucking rest, mate.
Yeah, it's obviously wants to impress her.
Well, kind of works, but yeah, but every character, pretty much every scene, they're wearing something different.
Yeah. I think the only one where it maintains is when Mary is kidnapped by Lady Sylvia, and she's still got her jacket on when Lady Sylvia's on the sunbed. She's another fucking weird scene. She's like, take your clothes off. So she starts taking her clothes off, and then when she's only got like her shirt and then one of Sharon's underwear on, she's like, that's enough. You know?
Well, it's Eve, not Mary.
Sorry.
She kidnaps. Yeah. But apparently she was supposed to get naked for that, but the actress refused.
Right.
And it's similar to the last scene when she's hanging above the worm pit. She was supposed to be naked for that, but she refused to do that, which... You know, you're thinking Lady Sylvia's naked in her sunbed.
Lady Sylvia's topless with a massive jaggy dildo on.
Yeah, she just didn't want to get any white bits, obviously. I guess then, do we talk about Lady Sylvia, Amanda Donohoe?
I mean, she's just living her best life, I think, Amanda Donohoe, in this. So
she's absolutely fucking incredible. Like, chewing up the scenery, but not in a bad way, if you know what I mean. Like, she knows the assignment.
Yeah.
This film is fucking ridiculous. When James is playing his Turkish music from his speakers on the roof and she rises from her basket. I've never been so hysterical but also turned on at the same time in my entire life. Like, it's fantastic. Like, this film was absolutely bonkers.
I mean, the other surprising moment in that scene is that evidently the late Lord James de Hampton had such a massive record collection that he had a North Africa collection of records. I thought, I'm looking for this record in Father's North Africa collection. Like, what? Delta Blues, Motown, Disco, North Africa.
She is just incredible, like, as the title monster, I guess, if you will. Like, she's able to capture, like, a seductive side of the character, but she delivers her lines in a way that, like, just... It's so bizarre. Like, they feel, like, quite sensual, but menacing, but always playful, but in a campy way, which just fits the scene of the tone. Like, the sums it up for me, the best bit. After she abducts this Boy Scout, Kevin, on his way to the hostel. He reminded me of a young Ray Winston for some reason. So she takes this Boy Scout back to hers, and all he's concerned about is getting to the hospital or when he's getting his dinner.
Yeah. She's
wearing fucking PVC trousers and a bra, and she's obviously into you, Kevin. Why are you fucking playing Snakes and Ladders? Why are you not getting fired right in there? She
gets his mouthie out, plays her a wee song.
He does, yeah, he does. He charms her with his organ. But she obviously she gives him a bath, and then obviously realises she's not actually into him because she bites him on the thigh, I presume, or do you think she takes a bite out of little Kevin?
I think maybe
it's implied. But
it's implied that little Kevin gets bitten.
Yeah. So he's paralysed. But that sums it up for me. Then has the skull and she's about to do this thing. And then the doorbell goes. And her reaction, which she just goes, shit, is just fucking brilliant. That was probably one of my favourite parts of the film in terms of that. It's so perfect. You know when you're in the middle of something and the doorbell goes and you're just like, oh, what the fuck now?
Yeah.
It just sums up. I'd say I have to thank Amanda Donohoe for, I think, a little awakening of Nikki. When I was a young lad, I remember watching on Channel 4 the 1986 film Castaway with Oliver Reed.
Yeah.
And I think it's safe to say she doesn't wear much in that film for a lot of it. And there's a scene where I think Oliver Reed shags her on the beach. And let's just say I enjoyed that film a lot. And I made sure the next time it was on Channel 4. And bear in mind, this was in the early 90s, Greg, so you had to wait. Like, it was like 4 years probably before it was repeated again. They didn't show films with such consistency as they do nowadays. Yeah. So I made sure the next time that was on, I recorded it. I had to be very patient, though. But yeah, it was quite an awakening for me. And she's still a fantastic actress. She's just incredible in this. She's so good.
I mean, I didn't know an awful lot about her before this. When I was reading about her, apparently she first became famous when she was 16 because she was in a relationship with Adam Ant.
Yes, she was. Yeah,
she's in the Ant music video and the Stand and Deliver.
She is indeed. Yeah, I think that's what she was most famous for. Yeah, at the time.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the beginning of the wheels coming off. Maybe that's not the right thing to say, but when the film sort of becomes something unexpected is when she visits the Airbnb, the B&B that apparently is just left unlocked when people go out, and she finds the skull in Angus's room, and as she's walking past the cross on the wall in the hall, and all of a sudden she just gets her snake face on and spits poison at it, and it comes out of fucking nowhere, because obviously I got into this film, I hadn't read anything about it before I watched it. I knew who was in it, and I knew obviously there was something to do with a white worm. That's all I knew. So when her face, when the big teeth come out and she gobs poison at the cross, I was like, holy fuck. And then when Eve comes back and touches the cross, and then we're into it's as though the people that made that children's ITV show Nightmare that did like a brutal horror film. You know what I mean?
Spitting on the crucifix. I mean, that's the original Hawk Tour moment, isn't it? Of her doing that. The hallucination scenes are fucking mental. They're like 80s heavy metal music videos.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. It's useful because it shows that you're having a hallucination, but it's just absolutely fucking mental. And the first one, which Eve sees, that's the one with the nuns getting raped, isn't it? Yeah, Jesus on the cross, the white snake round him, and all these nuns getting raped by centurions. Yeah. And you're just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Have I just seen?
As Amanda Donohoe laughs and writhes and laughs and stuff.
But then she forgets about it, but only remembers when she sees the pocket watch has a
snake
hand of a snake. Yeah. It's very bizarre. Those scenes are just absolutely mental. And when she goes to see Eve, when she kidnaps Eve effectively, she's just draped around this tree. And
just up a tree.
She's like, oh, I came to rescue a kitten. The kitten got down, but now I'm stuck. Can you help me down?
Eve, I feel so silly. I saw a little kitten up here that couldn't get down. So I climbed up. Now it's gone, and I don't seem able to get down myself. If you could just stretch up your hand. That's it. And I'll steady myself. Thank you. You look tired, Eve. You ought to rest. You're weary. Come with me. Come with me and take your ease at Temple House a while. Come with me.
Oh, she's just wonderful. It's just insane, the things. Because when she makes Eve make the phone call to say that she's going to London, and then Eve kind of sees the ring with the crucifix and kind of freaks out and starts remembering and stuff. Because she's on the phone to Mary. And they hang up, and then Mary's like, oh, should I call the police? I don't want to cause a fuss. I'm like, really? Really? Your sister has just been on the phone screaming.
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to cause a fuss.
Your mum and your parents went missing without a trace a year ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You would think that maybe there's something you should be doing about this. Yeah. Kind of at least investigate this. But yeah, I love the hallucination scenes.
The hallucination scene with Sammy Davis, not Junior, when she's kind of mobbed by, I've written down here, she's mobbed, what is it? She's mobbed by the Jaggy Dildo Chippendales. She all like crowding round her and cutting her with their jaggy dildos until Angus has sucked the venom out of the wound and spat it into a brandy glass.
So these jaggy dildos, and they are very jaggy. There's a lot of them. It's a big spherical strap-on that has a lot. When Lady Sylvia's on the sunbed, great scene by the way. Really enjoyed that scene. When she's on the sunbed and she's speaking to Eve and she produces this big dildo for the first time. Eve does let out a couple of gasps. She doesn't actually. Let's not go down that road.
I don't. Well,
is it implied that she's penetrated her with a dildo?
I think it's implied that she's perhaps had a little to check to see if her maidenhood's intact.
Maybe just the tip. Yeah,
maybe just the tip. I mean, I'm sure there are much more. There are nicer ways of doing that. Imagine of checking that.
Yeah, I'm sure there are. Yeah, I'm definitely sure there are. I should also say that it does go with saying, like, if you get bitten by a snake, sucking the venom out doesn't work. So I think it's not advisable.
I don't know if that is like a sort of myth perpetrated by like Tarzan films and stuff back in the golden age of Hollywood, or if that is actually something, because like your heart pumps blood around your body quite quickly, right? So so if you introduce something to your bloodstream, I think there wouldn't be time to suck it out. I don't think.
Well, that's why, heroin is quite famously quite instant.
That's why heroin's so good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I recently had that, effectively. Not heroin, but when I had anesthetic for my operation, it as soon as it gets pumped in, within like 10 seconds, I was out for the count. So, which was nice. Did you enjoy the band at the start? You reminded me of the Dropkick Murphys. Like, singing about, basically telling the story of the film.
Yeah, I thought actually that it was a tight band, and I thought it was maybe the Levelers. It wasn't the Levelers, was it?
No, it wasn't. No.
It reminded me of the Levelers.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, just in they all need a good wash,
So, I mean, effectively, saying nothing, I fucking hate the Levelers. So they find a skull, the Snake Woman's there, she's bringing back the white worm, Eve gets kidnapped, Mary and Angus are there, they're trying to, they realise that it's Lady Sylvia. There's a lot of scenes that they spend in the cavern and the caves, which was kind of pointless, because they don't really
do anything,
discover anything, or do anything. A lot of time wasted, a lot of padding in this film. And they end up, they discover that it's Lady Sylvia that's behind all of this. So she has turned Ernie, the cop as well, who comes to collect Mary to identify her mother's body, that's a good point, because her mother and father went missing, but it turns out that Lady Sylvia has them. Yeah. Kind of kidnapped in this kind of vegetative state. But then the mum kind of comes back to life and goes mental, and Hugh Grant cuts her in half with a broadsword.
Yeah.
Which is a wonderful part of the film, and then falls over into a drum kit.
So the thing that made me laugh about that the most is when Angus is comforting and get that Mary. She's this
Mary.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, your mother, she's passed. And I thought it'd be so funny if he just said, James cleaved her in two. And she tried to attack him.
I mean, fair play. It's a wonderful part that he just grabs this broadsword that he has and just slices her in half. And quite a good effect that she's still alive in the two bits. It was quite, I mean, obviously you can tell it's someone else's legs and her. But it's effective. Quite effectively done. I quite enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Quite a good part. And they're led by Ernie the cop, who's going to take her, as you said earlier, played by Paul Brook. Probably most famous as the Rancor Keeper from Return of the Jedi.
Oh, I mean, and then some. I mean, that guy, he's retired now, apparently, so he's not done anything. His, the last thing he did was The Royal, that sort of Heartbeat spin-off. In everything from The Bill to Lovejoy to Ramsay Nesbitt as well. He turns up in Ramsay Nesbitt, The Young Indiana Jones Chronicles, Mr. Bean. Still Crazy Like a Fox. Do you remember Crazy Like a Fox? That TV show.
Yeah.
It was fucking...
actually.
It was fucking rubbish. Blackadder. Oh, the guy's just in absolutely everything. I mean, he's one of those actors, a wee bit like someone like, he's one of those actors who just seems to be in absolutely everything, like everything within a certain time frame. I felt bad for him in this film because he's obviously got quite a severe lazy eye, right?
Yes.
Which he does, he sort of uses it to effect a bit in this, but then he's got to wear those fucking red contact lenses when they've snaked him up, and I thought, I mean, that's just like Ken Russell at his most sadistic. They're making poor Paul Brooks stick contacts in his mad eyes, you know?
Yeah, because in 1988, the contact lenses wouldn't have been as comfortable as they are nowadays, so they would have been pretty harsh,
especially theatrical ones, because they wouldn't have been designed. They would have been designed to be in the eyes for long periods of time. They'd be designed to be in the eye just for like as long as it takes to shoot a scene, then you just pop him back out again, you know?
Yeah, not the best. He's great though in this. Like I really liked him.
Yeah,
he's got some good funny moments, some good scenes. I think it's great, and the kind of reveal when Mary sees the plaster on his arm, that she realizes he's been bitten, and then he just turns into this snake
guy,
and. The wonderful when Angus starts playing the bagpipes to charm him, and he comes charming towards him, and they have a little bit of a tussle and a little bit of a fight, and then he gets it's not even his bad eye that gets poked out from the sundial.
He's one good eye.
Yeah. So he had a lot in common with Sammy Davis Jr., not the one in this film.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it's such a shame that it's his good eye that gets popped out. I bet Russell did that on purpose.
I did. It's honestly, I mean, I've written in my notes about Ken Russell is that he obviously doesn't like nuns, right?
He's very anti-religion or Christianity. Yeah.
But it seems to be the poor nuns in these films that sort of take the brunt of it. You know, there's there's nuns getting like tied to stakes and burned alive in the Devils. The poor nuns in this film that are like raped and then impaled on pikes. I don't know what it is. I don't know why he hates nuns so much.
Did you spot that James has a scud mag next to his bed?
I did not notice that. No, trust you to spot that.
What do you mean trust me to spot that? There's
Hawkeye Kemp there.
when he's going to bed, and there's a shot of his bedside table, and he has a lamp and something on it, and there's a scud mag on there, but it's covered by the lamp. You only see the bottom half of it, but it's a female leg wearing fishnet stockings, so it's definitely a scud mag.
Maybe a catalogue. maybe the Freeman's catalogue because it opened.
No, it's not thick enough for that, Greg. It's definitely a scud mag of some. It's a tasteful scud mag, I would say. It's not Escort or Fiesta, but it's definitely a scud mag. Shadow of a doubt.
So come on then, tell us how you came to work with Alan Edgar Stratford Johns, who plays Peters.
So I was when I was younger, I was a bit of a child actor, and I'd say when I was between the ages of maybe 12 to 15 or so, I was in quite a lot of plays and productions, and I think it was I was a member of this group, the Aberdeen Children's Theatre, and I think it was through that we got auditions to be in Scrooge, the musical, which was on at His Majesty's Theatre for like a 2-week run. And I got picked. I played, what was the name of my character? I can't remember now. I was one of the Cratchits though.
Right.
I was Tiny Tim's brother, basically. And so I had one line in the thing, but it was I still had a line.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone else that was just part of the chorus, but I had a line. I delivered it in Cockney. I can't remember what it was now. It was something like, we need to ask for that. Or something like that.
Is this some kind of ma is a cunts thing that us poor cunts don't get? Because I ain't fucking laughing. Scrooge your ass.
No, it definitely wasn't that, Greg. No.
That's a shame.
So Scrooge was played by Anthony Newley.
Okay.
So I got to meet and work with Anthony Newley. And Stratford Johns played, I think he was the ghost of Christmas Past.
Right.
Or was it Marley? I think he played Marley, actually, Jacob Marley. Is he the ghost of Christmas Past?
No, Marley is the herald who tells Scrooge that he's going to be visited by the three ghosts.
Maybe he wasn't. He was one of the ghosts, I think. But yeah, I got to meet, I've still got his autograph somewhere, but yeah, I got to meet Stratford Johns, and he was a lovely guy. Lovely guy. Only touched me inappropriately once, but yeah.
No, he didn't.
He didn't. He's dead now, it's fine. But is he? I better check. But no, he never touched me.
He is dead.
But no, he was a lovely guy, really genuinely lovely guy. So was Anthony Newley as well. I can't remember, someone else was in that. It was someone else famous. There was another third person. I can't remember who it was now. it'll come back to me. But yeah, that is how I got to work with Stratford Johns.
I once met in Aberdeen, I used to go out with a girl who worked for Mobil, and the oil company that is, and they used to do a sort of sponsored play, if you like, and we went to see, it was Peter Bowles and someone else doing Sleuth, the play Sleuth, which is really, it's a really good play actually. There's a couple of film versions of it. There's an old film version with Laurence Olivier playing the kind of rich guy and Michael Caine playing the younger guy, and then there's a remake where Michael Caine plays the older guy and Jude Law plays the younger guy. But we met, because she worked for Mobil, we got to go to a little drinks reception after the play. Peter Bowles was there and we said hello to him. And he might have just been shy, or he might have been an aloof cunt. We'll never know because he's no longer with us. But the short version is he didn't want to talk to us, even though we said how good he was. And I did consider asking him some questions about Only When I Laugh, the old sitcom that he was in the hospital with James Bolam. But I realised very quickly that he wouldn't be up for talking about that.
I'm going to go with aloof cunt. So. To go back to Stratford Johns as Peters, was he in on it somehow? Because Angus calls and he doesn't relay the message to James, and he's locked the door when James has told him not to lock the door. But then he gets bitten by the mum. So what was he kind of in on it somehow, but not? I don't understand, because he was obviously James's father's butler before, and famously slayed the White Worm, so I don't get it.
It's James's ancestor that's supposed to have slayed the White Worm, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not sure if he was in on it or if he was just the sort of butler and curator of Hugh Grant's father's massive record collection. I'm not sure.
So we come to the climax. Lady Sylvia has kidnapped Eve and she's holding her above a pit. Angus has got his bagpipes and his kilt on and is spotting, and he's playing the bagpipes and charming. But then he produces one of two things that I was quite surprised at. He first of all produces a mongoose.
From where? Where was he keeping that?
Where? Well, did you see how big his spawn was, though? It was pretty big.
I'm not sure a mongoose would be content just to remain in a man's massive spawning for all that time.
He seemed quite happy, to be honest, when he took him out. And then the mongoose goes to obviously catch snake, because as we've been told, about 10 minutes previous, a mongoose is a snake's mortal enemy.
Now, when he gets that mongoose out, I thought, when I saw the kind of face of the mongoose, oh, it's a prop. Do you know what I mean? It's not a real mongoose. It's a real mongoose that Peter Capaldi is handling.
Yeah. I quite like a mongoose. They're quite cool.
Yeah, but they're angry, but they're fierce looking, aren't they? Like ferrets, which I think are sort of part of the mongoose family somewhere. They look like quite cute little creatures, but they're bitey bastards. Whereas mongooses look like bitey bastards. They look like angry, like permanently annoyed.
So, unfortunately for the mongoose, Lady Sylvia dispatches of it, and because she's been wearing earplugs this whole time, so she hasn't been able to hear his bagpipe charming, and then bites Angus on the thigh.
Yeah.
But it's okay, because he's previously, just a few minutes before, injected himself with something, which we're not sure what it is, but we will find out later. Now, that leads to the final kind of climactic battle, which I thought was quite well done. I don't understand. They do kind of mention it later, but it kind of cuts between this climax, which has Eve, Mary, Lady Sylvia, and Angus in the kind of cavern bit. But then Hugh Grant has got all these guys on this expedition in the cavern. It's never really explained what they did, but then Angus does say something about they were pumping gas, which lured the worm out. But then surely Lady Sylvia doing her with the skull and the chanting lured the worm out.
Yeah.
So did James just do fuck all?
Well, I think by this point, Ken Russell was just in a mad rush to get Amanda Donohoe in the buff and Catherine Oxenberg in her pants and knickers, and he wasn't thinking that much about script cohesion.
It was after lunch.
Yeah, it's fucking full of sherry. It's just wants to see Catherine Oxenberg in her. And apparently Catherine Oxenberg had wanted like silk underwear from Harrods, and she had to settle for polyester from Marks and Spencer's.
Shame.
According to a Ken Russell anecdote about the making of the film.
Terrible. What a shame. Poor girl. It'd be uncomfortable because I bet it was a few days that she was tied up there in her Marks and Spencer's polyesters.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd want to be wearing white pants if I was being hung above a,
It's virginal, Greg. You have to lead into that.
Yeah.
You have to. She can't be wearing red and black sort of peephole bra and crotchless panties if she's being hung up there and being offered to the white worm.
Yeah.
Great little climax. The white worm comes out looking okay. It reminds me a little bit of like the chest burster from Aliens, and also the kind of worm thing from Star Wars.
The Sarlacc. Or the one in The Empire Strikes Back when they're on the asteroid.
Yes, that one.
It reminded me of that one, and also, in hindsight, actually, it looks more like the one off The Empire Strikes Back. But when George Lucas remastered the Star Wars films in the late 90s and put all the new effects in, and he didn't want the Sarlacc pit looking like sort of exposed arsehole anymore. He put in something that looked a bit like the white worm because it gobbles up Boba Fett.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they have the battle, and Lady Sylvia gets eaten by the worm, thanks to Angus.
Yeah, but again, right, bearing in mind that time is of the essence, again, Angus... typical Scotsman will not be rushed, right? Time is of the essence. We can see the rope starting to fray where Lady Sylvia's been cutting at it. So rather than just like boot her in the face or stab her in the face or something, he decides to cut one of her hands off. And then, and then for reasons only known only to Lady Sylvia, she lets go with the good hand.
That's the thing. You're right, though. Stab her in the head or the eye or something.
Yeah.
She's going to let go instinctively.
Put her in the face.
No, he decides to, cut her hand off. And it takes him a long time to saw through that hand.
No, if a job's worth doing, you know what I mean?
Then he rescues Eve and unties Mary and tells them to go. He's going to go back. And then not only did he have a mongoose in his spawning, Greg, he has a grenade. Yes. And now... This could be a little bit of far-fetched, but I guess he is an archaeologist, so maybe he has found this grenade in a dig and has thought, I'll keep that. That might come in handy one day. But why would you have it on you at that time? So he travels around with his grenade.
I thought maybe he'd found like Sport Billy's bag. He's just like fashioned it into a spawn and he could just produce whatever he needs at will. Mongoose, grenade. Hip flask.
So he launches the grenade, blows up the white worm, happy ending.
Yeah.
Everything's happy. He's back with Hugh Grant and they're going to go and visit the girls, but gets a phone call to say that this antidote that he had, that somehow he managed to get commissioned and pick up. But I don't know when he had the time to do this because we were kind of with him most of the time. But they gave him the wrong serum. And it's anti-arthritis medication that he's had. We don't know if is he going to turn? And of course, which leads to the end of the film, which is one of the worst parts. Him and Hugh Grant in the car, and Hugh delivers the wonderful line. What was it? Can we
stop for a bite?
Yeah, I'm famished. Can we stop for a bite?
Well, that's after he's invited Angus to slither in to the car. Did you hear him say that?
Oh yes, yes, I did. Yes,
and then he accidentally lifts Angus's kilt when he's changing gear by accident, and that's when the bite mark on Angus's knee is revealed.
So it was at the hospital?
Hospital?
Yeah, you thought it might be the girls?
No, it wasn't the girls.
Good. Look, I don't know about you, but I'm famished. We stop on the way for a bite.
Why not?
Great.
So do we think Angus is going to turn and he's going to bite him?
Yeah, or do we think that James, the reason he never slept with Eve was because he's not interested in girls after all? He likes elegant-handed, fantastic-haired Scotsmen. in kilts.
Well, he was in the RAF. Do you think this film's more offensive to snakes or to Scottish people?
Well, I don't think it's very offensive to Scottish people. I mean, there's a few stereotypes that are played fast and loose with, especially with really just when Angus gets the gear on and starts playing the pipes.
Yeah.
But I've seen a lot worse. I mean, have you ever seen Ken Russell's version of Tommy?
Yes, once, many, many years ago. I am not a huge fan of The Who. I know you are.
Yeah.
But I've seen Tommy once, but many, many years ago.
I mean, like, it's got... The cast is fucking insane. Oliver Reed, Anne Margaret, Jack Nicholson, Robert Powell, Keith Moon playing a paedophile called Uncle Ernie. It's got in a long coat with, for some reason, hot water bottles strapped to his body. You know what I mean? And it's just, it's a wild, wild film. Coming into this, as mad as those scenes are with the hallucination scenes, he's quite restrained, really, Russell, in this. It's just like those moments, and I wonder if those scenes were made in post-production, you know what I mean? Where he's just sort of said to the actors, you know, just look frightened and surprised, and then he's gone into some sort of computer suite, early technology, and just, right, we want about a dozen nuns all being raped by Roman soldiers. I want you to crucify a guy, put like a white worm around him, sort of kind of laughing at what's going on. And I need Donohoe as naked as possible in these scenes because I'm not satisfied that we saw enough of her earlier on. And then, you know, and the thing is, like, the film, you would imagine, and I was quite surprised because I enjoyed this film. You know, I did enjoy it. I mean, it is ridiculous, but I'm kind of, it's sort of in my wheelhouse. You know, I'm there for it. But I thought to myself, I bet this got absolutely destroyed critically when it came out, and it wasn't. It wasn't at all. Even Roger Ebert, the famous American critic, who sort of famous for being quite dismissal, gave it like 2 out of 4 stars.
Oh, wow!
You know what I mean? He said
I know why.
He said it's a respectable B-grade monster movie.
It's fair enough. I'm the same as you. Is it the greatest film ever made? No. But I've seen a lot worse, and I've seen a lot worse this month, and you can't help but like it in a way because it's just utterly fucking bonkers. It's like a fever dream.
Yeah.
And it's so full of, there's so many parts that are just so ridiculous, but I think in a way you know that they're meant to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
This wasn't made as like it's so bad, it's good film. This was made on purpose to be laughably bad, but also good in a way. And you can't help but like it.
Yeah. I mean, Kevin Thomas, who's the critic for the Los Angeles Times, wrote, "Far from serious aura allows Russell to get away with some hilariously cut-rate visions of hell, various Christian pagan conflicts with lurid Freudian symbolism." I don't know if he's given Russell a bit too much credit there.
I mean, I've given a bit too much. I said it was when you had even Mary as the Enid Blyton characters of, oh, my spotted dick, and they run off. Actually, it's long before that you realise what this film is about. The opening credits, it is focusing on this cavern, which is basically just a massive vagina in a hilltop. And you know what's coming. And for me, the best bit was when it comes up with the director of photography in the opening credits. His name is Dick Bush.
Yeah.
And like, okay, I know where this is going. Yeah. I know. That's the only better director of photography name that I know of is Wally Pfister.
Yeah.
Who's, of course, Christopher Nolan's
there's
favourite director of photography.
There's also Basil Iwank as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Guess you have to have a name like that to get into that profession. Did you know that the role of Lady Sylvia, Amanda Donohoe, was not the first choice?
I did. I can't remember who was it. I did read that earlier on. I've got it in my mind.
It was Tilda Swinton.
That's right.
Who apparently read the script and said, not a fucking chance.
Fuck right off.
Yeah, no fucking way. Which I imagine it was nothing to do with the nudity, because Tilda Swinton famously has, if the film calls for it, I think it was more to be like, I
think... No. I think probably, if you're someone who is at the beginning of your career and you want to do work that you consider to be meaningful, serious, quality work, probably when you see Ken Russell's name come up on the phone, you're going to be like, oh, fucking hell, should I answer this? I will get paid, but what would they want me to do? And I suppose Amanda Donohoe probably, I think she was born in London. When I read about her, she probably comes from like a fairly bohemian, it says that she is a staunch socialist and feminist. So that suggests she probably comes from quite a bohemian background. She's got mixed up with Adam Ant at a young age when she's been a dancer and stuff. So, and she said that it said Ken Russell called her up, said, don't know if you'd be interested in this nonsense. I think he said this silly little thing, and she read the script and she said, she always liked people actors that is, who weren't afraid just to go a bit mad in a film. She says she always liked the sort of things that Ken Russell could get Oliver Reed to do in films. And I was thinking to myself, but Oliver Reed was drunk all the fucking time. Do you know what I mean?
Get him to do anything.
As long as he's got a feu bottles of stout and a bottle of rum in his fucking trailer, I'm sure if he's sober enough to stand up, he could probably talk him into anything. I mean, you managed to get him to sing in Tommy, and he's a lot of things, Oliver Reed, but he's not a singer.
Yeah, I can imagine. Like, Oliver, I want you to wrestle Alan Bates naked.
Yeah.
In front of this fireplace. There's a bottle of brandy in it for you if you do it.
Did you read that? I read about that scene, and apparently both him and Bates, before the scene, were going off and kind of fluffing themselves because neither of them wanted to appear on film with a smaller cock. So it was also apparently a little bit chilly on the soundstage as well. So
I genuinely thought you were going to say there that they both went off and
fluffed each other.
No, they got off before filming that so that they didn't get an erection.
No.
But yeah, Ken Russell, amazing director. And yeah, like I say, I would recommend this film. It's bonkers. It's mental. Thank you, Olivia, for introducing this to us. But it's fucking crazy. But it's well worth a watch, I would say.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's it's one that I can see myself coming back to for sure. And there's not a lot of stuff that we've done in this Swally apart from like the Stone Cold classics like Trainspotting, Braveheart, some of the Peter McDougall stuff, Highlander and things, which I'm always going to go back and watch again. Even though I had to watch it in some detail for the podcast, but I'd come back and watch this again because it's just like, and probably when I can just sort of relax and sort of take it for what it is, and not have to worry about making notes and then kind of finding stuff to talk about it. I can just sit back and enjoy it,
Yeah, I think I'll definitely be watching that sunbed scene again quite soon. Maybe in a couple of weeks once I've recovered from my surgery. Okay. Anything else on the Lair of the White Worm, Greg, or should we put it through our Swally Awards?
No, I think we can put it through our Swally Awards. So the first award is always the Bobby the Barman Award for the best pub. Now there's no pub in the film, but that Kaylee looks like a good night, doesn't it?
That's what I had down, Kaylee. Yeah, it did. Although, would you want to eat pickled earthworms? And there's a lot of octopus or squid just lying around on that table as well, which I thought was a bit strange.
I would probably give the food a swerve, but Hugh Grant looks like he's pretty liberal with the old booze. He's topping everyone's glass up and stuff. So
he does actually, yeah. No, it looks like a good shindig, definitely.
Yeah, good night out. So the next award is the Cosmo Award for being everything Scottish. It can only really go to Capaldi.
Yeah, Capaldi. Yeah,
he's the only Scottish actor. Next one then is the Jake McQuillan Award for violence, unexpected violence. So there's two here that I'm sort of straddled, and I can't really decide which one. The first one is Ernie getting his eye dashed out by the jaggy ornament sundial thing.
Sundial, I think, yeah.
And the second one is Wendy, Mary and Eve's mum getting cleaved in two by Hugh's big sword.
I had, it has to be the mum getting cut in half by Hugh with his massive sword.
The Ewan McGregor Award for gratuitous nudity, which we haven't always had truly gratuitous nudity that we could give this award out to in the past. I mean, it has to go to Donohoe because she's the only one that gets only one that takes her clothes off. But I mean, it is gratuitous in the sort of finest Ken Russell tradition.
I mean, it's difficult to pick which scene. I went with the sunbed scene because it is just what is the need for that? What is the need for her to be naked on the sunbed? And it's the fact it opens up and you see it's full frontal nudity, and then she turns over and obviously a lot of the film she is topless, but that is the scene where you're like, it's all there. That is, I would say, gratuitous. There's no need for that, really.
No.
So
the next one is the Begbie Award for swearing. It's not too sweary a film. I've chosen one that's not that gratuitous, but it's a bit silly. What did you go for, though?
I went for when Ernie is on the phone to his colleague.
Right, that's a good scene, actually.
Which is Ken Russell.
Right, yeah.
Ken Russell's his colleague on the phone, and he's saying about you need to get up here, and he's like, oh, what is it? I can't drive, I've had a beer, and get a taxi. Well, I can't. I arrested the taxi driver for drunk driving.
Yeah.
I'll take your bike. I've got a flat tire. I'm having my dinner, and Ernie says, fuck the Kilkenny fried turkey and get on your bike. So yeah, that's what I went for. But what about you?
I think that's the only F-bomb, isn't it? I think in the
I think so.
So I went for the scene at the moment. So Angus he's cut off Sylvia's hand, causing her to fall into the mouth of the worm. He's safely brought Eve down. He's untied Mary. He's chased them away. He's gone back to finish off the worm. But before he does, he kind of leans over the edge, sees the worm, and just says, holy shit! Like, he's seen it for the first time. I'm like, but you must be able to see it when you were hanging over the lip of the fucking thing, sawing Sylvia's hand off. But it just comes out of sort of nowhere. Yeah, because it's not really a sweary film. I think that's the only F-bomb, the one you mentioned, isn't it? So next award then is the archetypal Scottish moment. It can only be Angus playing the pipes.
Do we even need this?
Yeah.
Do we even need this? Yeah, it's Angus playing the pipes with his mongoose and his kilt and his sporran.
And then the last award then, Big Tam Award, who wins the film for you?
Stratford Johns. No, of course, it's Amanda Donohoe. Like, she's amazing in this. She's so good. So good.
Yeah.
And just firmly knows her assignment, firmly tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
She's just stunning as well. Like, she's brilliant in this. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, The Lair of the White Worm. If you want to watch it, it's available on the Apple Store. You can rent or buy it. If you want to watch it by honest means, I'm sure there are other less honest ways of watching it, but we're not going to tell you what they are. So, normally it would have been your choice this week, but because we took Olivia's request, and what a fine request it was, so that means that we come on to you again. What are we watching for the next episode?
Well, that concludes our annual Spooktacular, Greg. I hope you enjoyed it. Now, I've enjoyed the Spooktacular, but I have felt we've had a kind of lack of Scottish actors to discuss over the last few weeks. Like, with Capaldi this week, last episode, Playhouse, like, there was a couple of Scottish actors, but no one we could really talk about in depth.
No, we could gush
and
over.
And then Nothing But the Night, we only had Fulton Mackay.
Yeah.
So that has heavily influenced what I've picked next
for
the Swally. So on the next episode, I'm going to give you John Hannah.
Okay.
I'm going to give you Kate Dickey. I'm going to add in some Elaine C. Smith. I'm going to give you a sprinkling of Brian Pettifer. And I'm going to throw in Swally favourite, the late, great Brian McCarty. You liking the sound of this so far?
I'm liking the sound of it.
Not even that, Greg. I'm going to throw in a Capaldi.
Wow.
But not Peter. And a cherry on top, I'm going to give you Samuel L. McJackson. Chicago detective Dan Lawson travels to Scotland to link up with Scottish detective Clen Boyd following the resurgence of a serial killer whose crimes match an unsolved case he investigated 5 years previously in the 2024 film Damaged.
Awesome. I've not watched that yet. I was sort of waiting. I was thinking of picking it myself in a future episode, but no, I look forward to watching that.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either, and it's exactly why, because I was waiting to pick it, or for you to pick it for the Swally. Yeah. But yeah, I decided, I had a look, and I was like, you know what? How can you pass up John Hannah, Kate Dickie, Elaine C. Smith, Brian Pettifer, and Brian McCarty? Samuel L. Jackson and the Capaldi, whose name I can't remember. Is it Giano Capaldi, I think? Yeah. So yeah, can't pass that up. 2024's Damaged. I think that is streaming on Amazon or somewhere now, but it's, came out this year, but it's definitely on streaming, so you'll be able to find it.
Brilliant.
So that's what we'll look at the next time on the Culture Swally. Well, thank you very much for listening, everyone. Hope you enjoyed the show. And thank you again to Olivia for suggesting The Lair of the White Worm. I guess you can tell from that we thoroughly enjoyed watching it. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can. You can email us on cultureswally@gmail.com. You can send us any recommendations you have, any requests, or if you've seen anything funny in the news, or if you just want to say hello. You can follow us on the socials. We're on Insta @CultureSwallyPod, and we're on X, formerly known as Twitter, @SwallyPod. And we have a wonderful website as well, don't we, Greg?
We do. You can find us at cultureswally.com for links to all the episodes, some blog posts, and some features. So come and drive the traffic up on the website.
Fantastic. Okay, well, what are you up to? Anything exciting today, Greg?
Well, in about an hour's time, I need to take my daughter. She's got her friend's birthday. I've got to take her to the restaurant, because now they go to restaurants because they're teenagers. They don't. It's not like soft plays anymore. And my wife and I actually have an empty tonight because both daughters are at sleepovers. So maybe get my own white worm out.
I was about to say, get some candles lit. That's why. Because we discussed maybe having a catch up with our mutual friend tonight, and that's why you were a bit like, maybe you want to see what Paula wants to do. You're wanting your hole tonight. That's why. Okay.
No. It's more the fact that it's very rare. I can't remember the last time we were childless for an evening, so I think she'll probably want to do go out for dinner or something like that.
It's quality time, Greg. That's important. It's okay. We understand. I think so. Well, you have a wonderful evening. I will indeed. You enjoy. And
good luck to the Dandies in action against the Hoops at 4 o'clock Amsterdam time. 3 o'clock UK. 1
hour and 26 minutes until kickoff. So I'm about to go and get ready and shite myself and be bitterly disappointed this evening. But never mind.
You never know.
You never know. You never know, Greg. But I do. I do know. I've been supporting them all my life. I do know. Okay, right, wonderful. Thank you very much. And until next time.
Until next time.
Hello, Charlie. Ernie here.
Where are you?
I'm up at Temple House. There's an intruder on the premises. Get over here as quick as you can.
How can I? You got car?
I know I've got the car. Get taxi.
Oh, I've arrested him for drunken driving.
You've locked him up for drunken driving? I don't believe it.
I'm having me dinner.
I don't care if you are in the middle of your supper.
But me takeaway will be ruined.
Fuck the Kilkenny fried turkey and get on your bike.
I can't, me pump's broke.
I see. Well, you can take your bicycle pump and shove it up your arse.